Okay, everyone. So I'm going to go over quickly how to do this in OBS and Streamlabs. Again, they're very similar, so the layout might be slightly different, but just pay attention to what I am saying with names. So first, I already have them all set up, right? So the main thing you want to have is 5 different scenes, and I'm going to go through each of them one at a time. Each of these scenes, when you click on it, will have its own source. Notice how that source will be changing as I go through these. So each of them will have their own components that you're going to want to put in there. Some of this might be my personal touch, like the be right back. Like, I don't know if that's how Danny wants everything set up, but this is just how I've done it. So I'm just going to show you how I've done it. We can make tweaks later. So in the meantime, we'll start with the first one. So yours will be empty if you haven't done this before. So we're going to want to start with this plus button. It's going to ask you to add the name. I'm not going to redo it, but I would type SFCL before stream just so I know which one's which, right? Anyways, once you type that, you should have one here. When you click on it, it'll be blank with the sources. So again, you're going to have to add these sources. So you're going to hit plus again in the sources now once you've already been selected on this scene, your first scene that you made. And you're going to put in 2 different things for this first one. I have a media source and an image. Now, we were talking before in the chat about possibly using a Spotify playlist, but to me, then you have to mute your mic and all this other stuff. It's a lot more complicated. To me, it's easier to not even add mic on this or headphones. That's the audio it's going to be receiving. Don't even add that. All you have to do is add a media file. So I just have an MP3 file. So if you go into the observer notes, I put in an MP3 file there. Maybe Danny will change it by then and have a different file. Either way, just get a file. That way when you go in, you hit plus, you can go to this, just look for it. Again, in Streamlabs will be a little different, but they'll have the same names for the most part. You want to go to a media source. Click on that. Now, I would add a new one because I already have mine in here. And I'd hit OK. And then once I've done that, I'm going to hit loop. That way it stays in the loop. It's going to keep playing over and over, and it won't stop. The music won't stop. Same song over and over. Hit browse. And then once you've downloaded that file, you should have it here, right? I have this as the file. So I'm not going to re-add it here. I'm going to cancel all this, but then you'd hit OK, and then that media file would be here. And now it thinks it's there. Whoops, I'll delete it. All right, cool. Anyway, so that'd be your media file. And then the image, it's the same idea. You hit the plus button, you go to image, and yet again, you're going to browse. You're going to find this picture or whatever one yours is. You want to have this downloaded. Danny should have sent out the cards for whatever match you have. So find that and put it in. Now the nice thing about it is once you've already had it in there, you can just change the size of it by grabbing it, stretching it. You just want it to fill the screen. Now if it asks for dimensions before, you can type the 1920 by 1080. All right, because that will not probably be what it naturally is. So you just need to stretch it to fit the screen. Now the thing that I was going to say though is that's nice about it is you can hit properties here, and that'll bring you right to the image file source. And if you wanted to switch it, you can hit browse and go to your next game card, right? Whatever one it is. I do WNBL, so there's a few of those in here. But the point being, you could switch these cards out just by right-clicking it now. You don't have to go through the same whole process. You got a shortcut now. So switch that for whatever game you're doing. So this would be the first game I'm doing, so I'm leaving it like that. So now I have music, and I have this. This is the before stream. That's all you need. It'll just be playing music. Once you hit start streaming, you don't even have to have everything else already set up. You want a couple of minutes of making sure everything's good. In the meantime, everyone will be hearing music and seeing this on the stream. Okay, cool. So that's the first one you want. Then you want to get to the map band. So during map band, you're probably going to be talking to your casting buddy. Now, it's a little different if you're observing but not a caster. Then you don't need to add this mic part. But you'll notice there's 4 different components here. So if you're casting and observing at the same time, this is kind of the setup for that. If you're only observing, just take away your own mic, and it's the same thing, because then you'll have the casters still coming through the headphones. So in this case, you'd hit plus again, you type in SFCL map band. That way you have the map band one figured out. Again, it's going to be blank here in the sources for that one. So you'd go here, you'd hit plus. Now, it's a little different. Image 4 is just that blank background. So it'd be the same process of going to image and finding that blank smoky background and putting that in the background. So that's not a big deal. The main thing here, the overlay's being kind of weird here. There should be like the symbol here, whatever. the main thing here is there's going to be three different other components now that we haven't talked about yet. I mentioned mic and headphones. How do you get those? Well, you want to hit the plus button, and then you're going to go to audio input and audio output. That's going to be each of them. So you're going to do one at a time. So you hit audio input capture. That's going to be your mic. You're going to go audio input capture. You're going to be like, okay. And that's going to ask you what one. I just only have default. So I don't want that. I want a specific one. I have my Blue Yeti microphone. I'd click that, and then I'd hit OK. All right. Well, the main thing is I already have it, so I'm gonna get rid of that. But I called it mic too. You can name it whatever you want. You can just leave it as audio capture. Just know whatever it is. So I just called it mic. I chose my mic in that settings, and that's easy. Okay, same thing, but now for your headphones. So you go output capture. Name it what you want. Call it headphones if you want. Hit OK. Default no. You want to go do whatever your headset is. Click that. OK. Again, I don't need that because I already have it. So. But not too hard of a process, hopefully. And that would get you both the headphone and the mic. Now, browser is a different thing. So that's the last thing we need. We need this overlay from Mapband GG. So what you would do is you would hit the plus button and you go to browser. I think it's called the same thing in Streamlabs. Again, it might not be, but it should have the same world little symbol for the internet. You'll be able to find it. So you click that. You go to OK. I just leave it as browser, whatever number it is. I can figure out what it is later. This one, you can grab and stretch if you want, but again, this is what I was talking about when you type into 1920 for the width, 1080, just so it fits the screen properly. And then this is actually the URL. So this is that moment where you'd want to go in here. I'm on WNBLs, I think, right now, but it doesn't matter, it'll be the same idea. And you want to copy whatever one it is. This is for Mapband. So then we'd go to the Mapveto one. We'd hit this is just a copy button. So you can hit copy here. Go back. Control V to paste, or right click to paste. And it would do that. And then you hit OK. I'm not going to do that right now because, again, I already have it. But that's essentially the idea. So making sure it's the right overlay, of course, but as long as you pay attention, you should get the right ones. You can also, when you're in there, if you're not sure which ones these are, you can hit this. It'll open it in a new tab, and you'll see what it looks like. Oh, cool. This is a nice one for the break menu. So I'll have that on the Be Right Back screen. That's when we're taking a break. So, Be Right Back screen. Speaking of which, we'll go in here. This is one where we can have music playing. I am not going to have my mic and stuff, so I'm not going to add those. All I want is that media source. So you can hit plus, media source. You already have that song. Go to that song. For me, it was number 2 because I have a different one for WNBL. But the idea, you can just reuse that same audio file, hit OK, and then it's there. Easy. I don't need 2 of the same one though, so I'm going to delete that. All right. Text, I added by going to text. You can change the font in there when you go in here. Right, select font, you can change the color, and you type right here whatever you want it to say. Right, that's how I got that up. Already have it though. And so those are things you've kind of seen already. Then image, against that smoky background. Now, I didn't talk about this. This is my mistake. This is really important. On the one before this and this one, these are all in order. So if I have this image at the top, it's going to block out things. So you always want the image at the bottom because that's the background. You want the browser usually at the top. That way it's on top of everything. It's going to be on top of that image. The text should also be on top so you can see it. Otherwise, it'll be blocked, right? So if you don't have browser at the top, it's gone. So you really need that up top because the order matters. Okay, this browser, again, I went to browser, and then it's just a different URL. So I'm not going to go through the whole process again. I think it should be straightforward. You can play with it. Just figure out, again, you can go into that thing, open it up, see what they look like, and be like, oh, this is the one I need for in-game. Okay. And just make sure you're selecting the right one, put in that URL. Okay. So before stream, music, image, Mapband, your audio, headphones, then the browser overlay, and then the image will be the last thing in the background. Be right back. You just need that media source yet again. You can shortcut that, shortcut the image because you've already selected it before as well. Type in be right back, add the browser, make sure it's on top. This will show the maps of how many maps have won. This is best of one, so not as exciting. Match starting, same idea. The only new thing being added, make sure you have that headphone and mic. Make sure you have the capture for match starting, but then the last thing is game capture. So you want to go to here, hit plus again in the scenes, or sorry, not the scenes, but in the sources, and go to game capture. It has a little gaming controller. After that, it'll pop up with the name. You don't need to name it unless you want to, and then you can select a certain application you want it to get. So any full screen application or specific window, depending on what it is. I think I'd do a window, and then it'll have which ones you want. I don't have Siege open right now, but it would pop up if it was open. You'd want to select Siege, and then hit OK. Now, I already have Siege for my original game capture. So I'll go to properties so you can see that. It's a window, Rainbow Six Siege. Didn't really change anything else. So if Siege was open, it would be in the background. You want that at the bottom, so the overlay again is on top of it. Okay, that's pretty much everything. I know that was quite a long video, but I think step by step is more important. And lastly, what I have here, something I do, is I have the image in the background, which is them. I have the browser overlay on top. I pushed it down so you can still see that background more. I did the text in the top corner saying who won. I just have this prepped. This isn't who won yet. I can change it before I actually pull this up by right-clicking, going to properties. Again, text here. I can just change that pretty easily to whoever won. And then your mic and headphones so that they can hear you, and they can hear both the interviewee and your partner, your casting partner. Now, this might not be a thing for these qualifiers or whatnot, but I just want it prepped, that way I have it there already. So that's the 5. Before stream with that music and everything, map bands, so you can talk to your buddy about the map bands. Be right back screen, match starting. You'd want to switch where in the map starting. When you hit start, you want to show this, and then wait a couple seconds, and then switch over to this one. And this will be the in-game that you'll have throughout the match. Then at the end, you can switch to this, or you can go to the be right back, so you can get ready for that interview, and then go over to the interview one. Okay, so I feel like I've really gone way too detailed probably, but that's okay, because I'd rather be thorough about it than I'll leave anything out. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions, let us know.